Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. And so this is a midweek video, but a Wednesday video, but it is with a twist. It is with a difference. And in this video, I want to talk about. I'm going to give some astrological weather updates at the start of the video. And then I want to talk about energy, the energy of the times that we're in, which we understand are very, very significant. And I also want to talk about the energies of auras. Now, the energies of auras and stuff like that. And what's happened, something very, very significant has happened for me today in terms of Vedic astrology and stuff like that. And that is that I have started a new Dasha sequence, a new Mahadasha sequence from today. And I've been feeling this energy coming in over the last couple of months. And you may have noticed as well in a few of my broadcasts on Hodiga, there's been a lot of electrical disturbances, or, things just sort of like interfering with the recordings and stuff like that. And part of the reason for that is that I have just changed Mahadasha sequences. I have gone from my Saturn Dasha, which is, it can be a very challenging Dasha. It varies from ascendant to ascendant. I have a Cancer ascendant, and Saturn and the Moon are not friends. So my God, it has been an absolute trial of work and graft and sweat. As you know, I call Saturn Balloon Popper is the ultimate planet of reality. 19 years, guys, 19 years of effort, strife, graft, work beyond belief, and all of that stuff has now finally passed. But at the same time, I am also immensely grateful, because the Saturn Dasha is actually one of the most powerful, most profound dashas that a person can actually go through. Actually, it really helps us grow up. And I've done a lot of growing up over the years. Yeah. It's about responsibility, the positive sides of the responsibility, knowledge, wisdom, experience, grace, all of these different things. These are the positives of what Saturn can bring in the end after he's finished, beating sense into us. Many of my clients actually are going through Saturn Dashas, and some are just about to begin. And it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be that bad. No, not at all. For some people, Saturn is very well placed for them, and it is a wonderful time. It is a time of maturation, maturity, coming into one's true nature and finding out who you really are. And now I'm gone into Mercury as of today. Anyway, those of you who are members will know about all this stuff, because I talk about the dashas and everything to do with the planets, of course, in my Vedic Apprentice membership. So if anyone's curious about that, just join on to that. But what I'm going to do is, because this is a new dasha and Mercury is the planet of communication and media and all of these various different kind of things, but he's essentially the planet of intellect and media and sharing of information of all kinds. He's got many other roles as well. He's also got a lot to do with magic as well. Mercury is also the magician. And what I'm going to share with you guys, so I'm going to do a little roll screen, but I'm going to do something very unusual. And I just thought, you know what, now it's time. And I'm going to share my aura reading with you guys. Yeah? You heard me right. My aura reading. I'm literally bearing my soul to you folks. Yeah? And we're going to look at the colors and stuff like that. What I will do is I'm going to publish the PDF on my community tab. So after I've completed this video, I'm gonna this video is uploaded, I'm then gonna upload the PDF of my full aura report on my community button, so that you can see the colors of my aura. It's basically blue, greens, and white, which really actually surprised me. And then I'll attach a little video in the description where someone else is talking about the aura colors and stuff like that. So you know that I'm just not, blowing hot air up my own backside, basically. Yeah. Now, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Because I want to talk about energy. Many of you watching will be light workers. Yeah. Empaths, light workers, sensitive people, creative, artistic, etc. All of those things. And as you know, I'm just over 2 years into my channel now. We've been talking about a lot of the politics of what's going on in the world and stuff like that, which of course I'll continue to do, particularly on Hadaiga, as you know, which I do every Saturday. And we're going to be having Lena actually on. Lena will be back this Saturday coming, which will be her Sunday morning, of course, because she's in Australia. And she'll be back on the show, and we're going to be discussing our usual, politics and stuff like that. But as a kind of advent or a celebration, or just to acknowledge this huge energetic change that I've now gone into in my life, and which is going to last for 17 years. Yeah, the Mercury Mahadasha is 17 years. Different planets come along to drive the car. You can see in the background here where this is where I'm teaching the lessons about the Mahadasha. Your soul effectively gets in the back seat of a car which belongs to a planet, and it will drive you for a duration. 19 years, 6 years with the sun, 19 years for Saturn, 6 years with the sun, etc. 17 years for Mercury, 20 years for Venus, 10 years for the moon, etc. But the driver changes from time to time. So what happens is another planet gets in. And this is how we get these multiple variations in our lives. And as we know, everything on Earth School has ramped up. We really are going through some very challenging times right now, aren't we? And as you know, I've been banging on for ages now, and I've been talking about the Pluto return, the Pluto return. It's the Pluto return for the United States, as you know this, but it also as well, Pluto has come into sidereal Capricorn for everyone. Now, as you know, in Western astrology, it's 24 degrees ahead, yeah, because they're still looking at the old part of sky, and the stars have moved backwards since then quite a lot. So, in Western astrology, they'll have Pluto at much later degrees of Capricorn. Yeah, around about maybe 27 degrees or something like that. But at the moment, he's going retrograde, and he's around about 3 degrees of sidereal Capricorn. And he moved into sidereal Capricorn, guess when? January 1st, 2021. And many of you who've been following my channel for a long time, and many of those of you who have since looked back at follow-up videos, check out my playlist. If you actually click on my face in the picture of this video, that will actually take you directly to my channel, and you can see my playlist where I predicted things in the future. And I said something crazy is going to happen. I said Duck Larange has gone bonkers, and he's going to do something wild to maintain his power. It could even be something like a coup. I didn't use the word insurrection because none of us, the word had fallen out essentially of common use, because it was so archaic and old that there was never need to use the word in common parlance. But I certainly talked about coups. So if you look back at my Ivanka Christmas special video, and you can forward to the part where I start talking about her Navamsha, where I talk about when she turns 40, which she did that year, I said there's going to be a ramping up and something to do with her father, Duck Larange, which is going to be outrageous. And there's the other videos in there. Just look through that playlist. But basically, I predicted it. Yeah, I predicted the insurrection, even if I didn't use that exact words. I said a coup, some type of coup, a violent overthrow. This is something that Duck Larange would attempt, and it has come to pass. Because a lot of people, a lot of my clients are saying to me, look, you need to tell people, remind people of some of the predictions. So if those of you are interested in that, there's that. But we can't just live on a diet of politics. Of course not. A lot of us are feeling helpless about the situation. So what I want to discuss is energy. Energy. Yes, Pluto is rising and all of that kind of stuff. But I also want to talk about how when we are in service to others, when we are in service to the world, when we are helping others, it literally changes your magnetic field. It changes your aura. My aura colors have changed from, God, I think I last did an aura picture, 20 years ago, and the main colors were yellow, green, and gold. Yeah. Yellow, green, and gold. And now my colors are obviously, yellow and green, which green is very healing and stuff like that, but it's mainly blue and white, yeah, and stuff like that. But I will put those little things, and you can actually just read the report, what that means for itself. Otherwise, it's going to seem like I'm being like, oh, yeah. But I can understand now why I can actually read, with the planets and why they come through and tell me stuff. It makes sense now. So that makes sense, particularly with the solar plexus. Solar plexus color is normally orange. Mine is white. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. That was a real surprise for me. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is energy and how we can, I want us to discuss energy going forward and what we can do, because Pluto, as we know, is rising and it's churning up the waters, as I've been saying for ages, yeah, churning up the waters and bringing out a lot of shadow. Remember, I'm always using that analogy. I said Pluto is like your next door neighbor's cat dropping a maggoty rat on your bed and you're going, yeah, but it has to be dealt with. And it seems at last the wheel is turning, as we've seen with these January 6th committee hearings. I think they're on their fourth one now, and it's starting to have an effect. Yeah, how much of an effect, we have to wait and see. Yeah, we have to wait and see, because energy is energy, and we are yet to see, for more indictments, etc. The wheels are turning. But as I've said before, with the first eclipse that happened on the 30th of April 2022, it was in Bharani Nakshatra, which is within Aries, and Bharani deals with the yoni, the female reproductive system, and the deity Yama, which is the deity of, he deals with death, but he also deals with consequences. The yoni is the female reproductive system. 2 days after that eclipse, we had the leaked document come out, yeah, about Roe versus Wade. These things, this is just how it works. And from what I understand, this week we are going to find out what that verdict is. Now, we will have to see how that pans out. And, because there's a lot of energy going on right now. At the moment, we've got the nodes of the moon, Rahu, so going into the astrological weather. We've got the nodes of the moon, which move backwards. Yeah, they move backwards through the zodiac. So they were in Taurus before. Now they are in sidereal Aries. And Aries is all about what? Fire, conflict, yeah, war, combustion, aggression, passions, desires of all kinds. The positive side can deal with innovation and sport and courage and bursting forth. But Rahu exaggerates everything, blows everything up. He pours petrol onto the fire. We currently have a square between Uranus, which is the planet of revolution, rebellion, breaking through, electricity, sudden shocks and surprises of all kinds. It even deals with earthquakes. You would remember probably in the last couple of Hadaigas when I was talking about Uranus, I said, look, we could also deal with earthquakes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we've just had a huge earthquake that has happened in Afghanistan today. Yeah, today. And I've made notes to talk about there's just so much going on. It's a very intense time. And I can understand why for many people it feels overwhelming. We're also dealing with inflation. Like I said the theme of 2022 is going to be talking about food and inflation and stuff like that. Why? Because Pluto also represents energy, but energy of all kinds. He's mostly associated with a nuclear energy, but he also deals with electricity, power grids, oil. Neptune is oil and gas as well, but Pluto is energy in all of its forms, every single kind of it. Yeah. And he's currently in sidereal Capricorn, and Capricorn deals with government and infrastructure, distribution systems of all kinds. He's a bit like a hand grenade in there, bringing this transformation and all these revelations and scandals and all of this stuff that we're seeing, not only in America, but around the world. So there's that. So what I want to do is we're going to go over some of the events that have happened, and then how we can transmute some of these energies, and of course do my aura kind of stuff at the end. So stick to the end of the video if you want to see that. Now, as you know, I consult my book here, and let's see. So I've talked about the my Mahadasha and introducing that PDF of my aura colors and stuff like that. And feel free to comment below, and so we can talk about the energies, and I will link a little video, not my own video, but a video that talks about aura colors and stuff, just so that we can talk about our collective energies and colors and how we can raise our vibration. Because when our vibration is high, we actually can begin to affect other people without even necessarily even physically coming into contact with them. Yeah. One thing I wanted to update here, and I'm glad I put it down in the notes. Now, this happened on the 20th of June, 2022. So today's date is the 22nd of June, 2022. God, that's a lot of twos there, isn't it? And the time right now is 14:44 my UK time. So 2:44 in the afternoon. Now, you remember in my predictions when I was predicting about Macron and Le Pen, and do you remember I said it will be very close between the two of them, yeah? But that there could be some kind of sudden shock or surprise where Macron will kind of get a bit of a landslide, or it could be ruin, yeah? And on that night, he did manage to win by 61%, yeah? So he is the president of France. But let's not forget, Le Pen got 41% of the vote. And remember I said there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people dissatisfied in France. They're unhappy with their leadership. And I said it will come down to love. And I said it would be the French people will judge Macron on how much he loves France as opposed to loving his role as president. Remember that. I spoke about those things when I was talking about the dream and all that kind of stuff. And I did that video. When did I do that video? That was something like the 18th of April, I think it was. I'll try and link it below. Yeah, I'll try and link it below. Now, what's happened is this. Now, that was the elections and all that kind of stuff. But what I didn't realize, because of course I don't live in France, a lot of this audience doesn't necessarily live in France, is that they've recently had the parliamentary elections. This decides how the laws are introduced. And what's happened here now, remember I said Macron is going through that midlife crisis moment, which has to be handled very well. One has to be very, very spiritual in the midlife crisis because it's the Uranus opposition, yeah, which is something that I'm starting to go through as well. This is why the electrics and all that stuff have been kind of playing up a little bit, because I've got a lot of energy going through my aura right now, and Kundalini energy rising, etc. and stuff like that. Thankfully, I've got a very open heart chakra and all that kind of stuff, which you'll see green. And I should be able to handle that energy, just fine. But I did say it would trigger something in Macron, and there could be some surprises. And the surprise is this. Macron has lost his parliamentary majority, and by quite a distance. He is now in a minority government. So this happened on the 20th, just 2 days ago, on the 20th of June, 2022. And Uranus is what? Sudden shocks and surprises, yeah? So there was a twist. And guess what? So the main opposition now is the far left-leaning party. Let me just see here. Majority, yeah, too much glee of the right and the left that predicted that. Okay, so, and I'll link a video which is from France 24, English. That's what it's called, the channel, and it's 1 minute and 37 seconds long, and it talks a little bit about that. But the point is, the far left are now the official opposition. But guess what? Le Pen has done extraordinarily well. Last time they're saying that she got eight seats. This time she got 89 seats. So do you see, when I was talking about, I said it will be very close, and we have to keep watching. There's going to be some kind of twist or surprise, something in the tail. Because when I was looking at her chart, she's got this, I think it was Uranus in the 8th house or something like that, which can mean sudden transformations. I knew her fortunes would change. And as I said before, if it were not for the war in Ukraine and obviously all the horrors that are going on there, I think she would have won. I'm still sticking with that, you know. And again, this isn't an endorsement. Don't shoot the messenger here. Some people get very upset about these things when they hear certain truths. But we are in this time where we have to look, yeah, at the rat on the bed with all the maggots coming out, yeah? Pluto, the shadow of Pluto, deals with fascism and the far right. That's what he also deals with, part of the shadow of that, yeah? So it's just reflecting the energies. I'm here to communicate the energies and then give us all some advice of how we can change our energies, because when we change our energies, we affect the collective. That's essentially how it works. That's how it works. So I just wanted to put that there. So the far left, let's remember, the far left are now the official opposition in France, and they can change laws and all of that kind of stuff. But the far right as well, Le Pen, she's also made huge gains. And so Macron is now in a deep, deep pickle, because ultimately what it means is that he does not carry the confidence of the French people, like I was saying all along. He's very, you know, he likes to preen and, you know, all this stuff. And of course, you know, he's a charismatic man. But as I said in that video, and what the planets were sharing with me, he's very in love with the role of president, and that's not really ultimately what it's about. It's understandable. It has to be what one can do for the people, and everyone around the world. We're all dealing with all this inflation, isn't it, and all of this difficult stuff. Anyway, so I put that there. Oh, look, my new dream, Macron Le Pen, April 12th. That's when I did it, before the final runoff on Sunday, the 24th of April. So, and the results were on the 25th of April. So, and I put a timestamp there as well in that video. So I'll link that video below as well. And when you get to 53 minutes and 15 seconds of that video, that's when I start talking about the French elections and what the planets communicated to me. And essentially a lot of that has basically come true. What we also have as well, we've got Rahu with Uranus causing a lot of disturbances. And like I said, Uranus deals with earthquakes, but also aviation, electricity grids as well. He's a very electrical planet and has got a lot to do with transport. What are we seeing at the moment? He deals with aviation as well. We're seeing what? All of this disturbance with the airlines and all of that stuff. Yeah, all of this disturbance with the airlines. In the UK, we're having huge strikes at the moment. So we had a strike started yesterday. So it's the 21st yesterday. And then we've got strikes on the 23rd and the 24th. And it's across the whole country. These are the biggest strikes that we've had for 30 years. Can you believe that? For 30 years. And they're expecting the disruption to continue through the summer. So I'm going to have to see how it comes with my adventure, you know, potentially going back to Sicily, you know, for a special event. You know, I'll have to see if the planes are still, you know, flying and all that stuff. So again, there's that energy, that tumultuousness, which can deal with earthquakes and stuff. Already happened already in Afghanistan. Sadly, this is just breaking news. And but it can deal with power grids and stuff like that. And Mars is heat. Yeah, Mars is going to be coming into this on the 26th of June. Today's the 22nd. So in 4 days, Mars over here. Now this is Duck Larange's chart. In 4 days, Mars is here right now. Oops. I'll just show it like that. Mars is currently here and he's going to go in here. Now this is Duck Larange's chart. And you might have to look back a few Hadaigas ago. I can't remember which one it is. Could you imagine? So many shows now. But there was, or maybe, I can't remember which one. But anyway, I was talking about Donald Trump's 9th house. Uranus, Rahu combination is happening in his 9th house. And Mars is going to come in there. Now, the 9th house is philosophy, beliefs, ideologies, and stuff like that. Duck Larange is a Leo ascendant. And for Cancers and Leos, Mars is actually a very powerful planet. He's a malefic planet, but he's a very powerful and useful planet for those ascendants. And Mars is about to come into his 9th house. And the 9th house deals with luck and dharma and all of that kind of stuff. And I said a while ago, I said some events could happen where Duck Larange may be given a platform to speak to a wide audience, because the 9th house is also about preaching. Yeah, also about preaching. Now we know he was kicked off Twitter, don't we? We know he was kicked off Twitter. But guess what's happened? A certain Elon Musk, the Twitter board have approved the takeover. Approved it. Yeah? So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And what do you think might be the likely outcome of that, given what we've seen recently come out of Elon Musk's mouth? Yeah, and again, for entertainment purposes only, you know, we just need to join the dots on this. Mars, which is a very powerful planet for Cancer ascendants and Leo ascendants, is about to come into Duck Larange's house of luck. Now, does this mean that he's just going to be bathed in good luck and blah, blah, blah? No, not necessarily, because also as well, the 9th house deals with laws, yeah? Laws, righteousness, stuff like that. Look what's happening. That also covers, well, the Jan 6th Commission, yeah? Because they are talking about legalities and laws being broken and stuff like that. Mars heats things up. So I see two things happening. The heat will intensify as the Jan 6 thing continues and stuff like that. And he's going to be feeling more heat. But he may get a lucky bone thrown his way by someone who is very Martian. Because I've actually done a video on Elon Musk way back. You'd have to look way back in the archives. This was like, you know, in the early days on my videos. And could it be that someone may throw him a bone? Now, I think he said he doesn't want to go back on the Twitter platform, but for someone like him, I think it's going to be hard to resist, particularly because a certain DeSantis is starting to surge in the polls. Yeah. And I've done a video on DeSantis as well. So just have a good rummage through my back catalogue, and you'll see all those things there. And what I said was about DeSantis is that his biggest opposition will be Duck Larange. Duck Larange, because he's feeling threatened. Yeah. You know, Florida, as we know, each USA state is a law unto itself, as we've seen as well with Texas and all of that kind of stuff that's happening. So again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just talking about energy. I'm showing how the planets affect us all on planet Earth. And when we accept and when we can understand these energies, work with those energies and change our auras, then what we do is we change the collective. We change the collective. What else do I need to kind of discuss here? So I've talked about the UK disruption, but aviation disruption, travel disruptions all around the world, essentially, because this summer is going to be, things are going to be heating up, and we're going to see some kind of dynamic shift, particularly when it comes to the war in Ukraine, because Aries is the sign of war. Mars is the planet of war, and he's coming in here, but he's going to be in his own dignity. So this could be very bombastic and dynamic, but there could also be breakthroughs as well. Bharani is also about birthing things, breakthroughs. So just hold on. Hold on to your underwear, folks, and let's just see. But let's also try and manifest the positive energies as well. So what have I put here? Oh, yes. So disruption, combination. What's it? Where I talk about astrology. Yep, the energies really encourage people to talk, ask. Yes, done that. So more. So you guys, many of you will probably know about Morning Joe highlights on MSNBC. Yeah, and former Missouri Governor Eric Rittenhouse, Greitens, I think that's what I said, is Eric Greitens, released an ad called RINO hunting. Have you heard of this? Now remember, Mars is conflict. He's just about, he deals with weapons, firearms, explosions, all of that stuff. He can also deal with doctors, nurses, physicians, and all of that stuff. That's his positive things. Sport is positive, but he deals with anger, violence, agitation, firearms, explosions. So this guy, Eric Greitens, he had his video taken off Facebook because it was basically inciting violence. So he's talking about hunting rhinos, and RINO is an acronym for Republicans in name only. So he's been bearing guns and bursting to a house saying, join the MAGA crew and get a rhino hunting permit, with all these kind of army kind of guys. OMG. We know that basically the GOP, and again, if you want to know more about the GOP, look at, I've done in-depth chart reading on the GOP, but particularly in one of my collaborations with Linda G, where I do the America special, I look at the GOP chart, I look at the Democrats chart as well, and I look at the chart of the USA. I really encourage people to have a look at that, because the GOP are cray-cray. Yeah, they've gone totally batshit now. That's the best way to describe it. I know that's strong, but it's a cult, yeah? And they are just going hell for leather for this. And it demands a response of equal force. It can't just be the Jan 6th Commission. We all know this. This is also part of the realities as well. And I'm sure many of you would agree that with this. These are tumultuous times. So yes, so Mars will be in Aries from June 26th to August 10th, and it will go through the different nakshatras. I talked about Elon Musk. Let me just tick off everything here that I wanted to talk about, because I want to be thorough with these things. Talked about that. What else do I need to discuss? Oh, God, almost forgot. 4:30 a.m. this morning, which is, the 22nd of the 6th, 2022, I had a dream about one of Trump's buildings, like a Trump Tower or a building of Trump, blowing up. Again, for entertainment purposes only, yeah? It was really weird. Now, I don't know if that was because of the earthquake in Afghanistan, and maybe I was picking up on that, but what would that have to do with Trump? But it was something being reduced to rubble, yeah? And one of Trump's towers or something like that, one of his properties anyway, being blown up, and I was comforting one of his daughters, but I didn't recognize her. It's not a daughter that I recognized. And somehow one of her friends managed to leap between buildings from rooftop to rooftop. So it's like the building was crumbling, and then one of the women, like one of the friends of the daughter, somehow managed to jump it from one rooftop to the other rooftop, which I think was my building or something like that. So it was weird. So the daughter wasn't in the tower that crumbled. She was in a building that was next to it. So it's almost like we're looking over her window, and like the Trump thing, whatever it was, it just completely collapsed. But it shook her building a lot, and her friend went on the roof and jumped over to my building. And I was sort of comforting both of them, just talking like, oh my God, what's that all about? Who did this? So I just wanted to share that. I'll have to see how it goes, how that will pan out, because, I just have to see. And this maybe could be something to do with my Mercury Mahadasha as well. There could be more of these dreams. I don't know how it's going to play out. I know, for example, with Psychic Violetta, when she gets visions about stuff, she has to pull the cards and all that kind of stuff. Actually, maybe that's something I should do. Maybe I should just pull. I'm going to pull 3 cards and see what potentially that dream could mean in regards to Duc L'Orange. It was very vivid. It was one of his buildings or towers, something like that, and it was just blown up. It was just blown up. I mean, could that be Jan 6? I mean, that would be the most obvious thing. It could be maybe there's some devastating news, or maybe he tries to do something bombastic again. Let's just see. All right, Spirit, what can you tell me about this dream? What did this dream mean in terms of, in regards to Duc L'Orange? I'm going to just pull 3 cards. Let's see. Let's just move. Oh, no, actually, I can't move the camera so much on this phone. On the stick that it's on. All right, Duc L'Orange. Duc L'Orange. Let's see here. What did that dream mean, Spirit? What did that dream mean? It's very vivid. Very vivid. All right, let's see here. Ooh. Oh, look at this. All right. Main card that I get, look, I get 10 of Cups. And this is about the happy family, yeah, the happy family. This could also represent the GOP and stuff like that. Sometimes it can be the family that is appearing together but kind of faking it, yeah. Particularly as well, if we look here, look what I get. I get the Hierophant card in the obstacle position reversed. The Hierophant deals with what? Government, rules, regulations, traditions, righteousness, stuff like that. Who's looking into his things right now? It's the Jan 6th committee. Bang. And then look, I get the 5 of Swords, which is about an abuse of power. And you can see here, people here are walking away from this person. And they're wondering if the battle was worth it all along. This could also represent not only Trump's abuse of power, but those people that are leaving him, as we've seen so many of these Republicans, and they are just saying out all this stuff. So really, what that explosion with those cards represents is that it could be that these Jan 6th Commission debates could be destroying his base. Maybe it's destroying his base, his reputation, his grip, his hold. Either way, but that's what I saw, and that's all I can interpret from that. So there could be these things. But also as well, he may say or do things that further alienate himself. What if it's the case that he, a certain Musk puts him back on Twitter, and then Duc L'Orange starts coming out with this cray. That could be something as well. He may incriminate himself further. We shall have to see. All right, so let me kind of crack on. So I've talked about Afghanistan. The place was called Paktika in Afghanistan. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And I think the earthquake was I think it was above 6. I can't remember because I saw the story a little while ago. Oh, and a positive thing as well, which happened today in the UK. We've just had a statue commemorating the Windrush generation, which is people from the Caribbean coming to the UK sort of like in the late 40s, 50s, 60s, and a bit of the 70s by invitation of the Crown, which was emphasized in the poem at the unveiling of the ceremony, where Prince William and Catherine, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, were at the opening ceremony today in Waterloo Station to celebrate people of my parents' generation coming here to the UK to contribute their talents and their gifts and service to help rebuild the UK after the Second World War. And of course, they faced a lot of racism and discrimination and all that stuff, which was acknowledged. And we had a recent scandal, a relatively recent scandal as well in the UK under the Prime Minister Theresa May's government, where there was this harsh, hostile environment, as they referred it to people of the Windrush generation. And a lot of people got deported, and the government apologized for that today. So I think that was a really positive development, and just really good to have that acknowledgement for the recognition that the contribution that the Caribbean peoples in particular made to Britain, and they were invited. Yeah. My parents were invited, and they were already British citizens. So I just thought it was really interesting when they read the poem out, how that was emphasized. Yeah, particularly as we're talking a lot about Brexit and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, so let's talk about these Plutonic energies, and then I'll tack on the end the read through. So what will happen is I will kind of pause the video, turn the camera around, show my laptop, and scroll through the aura thing, and then I will publish that full report, that PDF, on the community section. So you just go to my channel, click on the community tab, and then you can see the details there. Now, let's talk about Pluto. Pluto. Many of you will be sick or bored of it, but actually I don't think people are, because really now we're really beginning to understand what this is all about. And we'll have to see as well how these energies manifest. And for Duck Larange, actually, Pluto is in his 6th house of enemies, battles. Yeah. So all of his dirt is what? Being brought up. But we'll see. As we know, he is an extraordinary con man, a grifter of grifters. And his book shouldn't have been called The Art of the Deal. It should have been called The Art of the Con, The Art of the Grift. Again, for entertainment purposes only. I'm laughing, but I mean, it's sometimes that's all you can do. Yeah, sometimes that's all you can do. So let's talk about Pluto, and let's remind ourselves what the shadow energies are, but also what the positive energies are, and what us light workers can do to harness that energy to bring positive transformation. So let's deal with the ugliness. Yeah. So the dark energies of Pluto, which you will all recognize. Fascism, yeah. Pluto, particularly when he's in the sign of Capricorn, which deals with government, means what? Rise of fascism. You would have heard me say for ages now, years ago, I said we are in a time frame that is similar to the Second World War times, yeah, which we're dealing with a lot of fascism and all that kind of stuff. So it deals with fascism, control agendas, manipulation, violence. Deals with dark money, mis and disinformation, conspiracies against the good of the people, yeah? Not all conspiracies are pie in the sky, yeah? There's actually turned out to be quite a few conspiracies that are true, but we know what the big BS ones are, yeah? Particularly when it says like, oh, the election was stolen. No, it wasn't. And just the fact that this is being indulged, but really we're seeing the maggots come out of the rat now, because this is why I'm being shown that analogy, a rat with maggots coming out of it. Yeah. Anyway, it deals with like conspiracies against the good of the people. Pluto, the shadow of Pluto, is enabling evil. If you know evil is going on and you enable it, then you are in the shadow of Pluto, like a lot of these people have been doing, yeah, and some of them have been changing their tunes. It deals with genocide, yeah, warfare. Look what's going on in Ukraine, and it's not just Ukraine. There's so many conflicts and wars and stuff going on that's not even making the news, yeah. It deals with destruction, people trafficking, sexual assault, yeah, all of that kind of stuff, molestation, bondage and slavery, mind control. Yeah, it's about manipulation, mind control. Pluto, the shadow of Pluto, is all about control. And everything in the human's shadow, including exploiting Mother Earth. We need to remember that Pluto is the Roman name for Hades. Hades is the god of the underworld. Believe it or not, Pluto has a lot to do with the raw nature, but things that are underground. What are we doing? Digging up. All of these fossil fuels pouring, sucking out all of this oil and putting it into the atmosphere. If there is one positive that will come out of this horrendous inflation that we're all dealing with now, by the way, officially in the UK, we're at 9.6% or something like that. One of the highest in Europe, yeah? I think France is at 6%, which is still a lot. We're at practically 10%. They're expecting us to go to 11% by the fall. I think our inflation rate is even higher than in the US, and you guys are really sweating bullets right now. And this is not easy. And what this means is Pluto is also transformation. So we're going to have to change our economies. Electric cars, maybe not so much Teslas, because I think some of them have been kind of catching fire recently and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not for me to tell you guys what to do. But what I understand is apparently Ford, from what I understand, is making sort of like a cheaper electric car. When that stuff comes on, just buy them. Buy them. So you just don't, you know, obviously the electricity still needs to be produced, but petrol prices with what there are, people in the UK and America and other places, they can't even afford to drive to work. Yeah, it's extraordinary. And of course, it puts up the price of everything because it all has to be delivered by freight, haulage, etc. and stuff like that. And if it weren't so much for so many of the petrol and oil monopolies around the world, we'd be having electric freight, and a lot of this would be delivered by freight within the USA in particular. Yeah, that's what that infrastructure project was all supposed to be about, and what's going on with that. Anyway, I digress. So there's that. So, but let's deal with the positive energies. Yes, the positive energies. How can we as light workers, what are the positive qualities of a planet that is so deeply subconscious? Now, this isn't easy because remember, the default of Pluto goes into the deep subconscious. He is the ruler, co-ruler of Scorpio along with Mars. So he's the, you know, so he deals with that deep hidden stuff, conspiracy theories and the like. So the positive energies which we can all manifest. Pluto deals with transmutation, alchemy, turning lead into gold, deals with transcendence, sacrificing personal gain for the collective good, yeah, being of service. Being of service, it truly is transformational. I mean, I can see that difference in my own aura. I wish I had the original picture, but it's from ages ago, and it was like a Polaroid like this. I got it in Edinburgh when I was in my early 20s, something like that. Anyway, so sacrificing personal gain for the collective good. So it has a lot to do with self-sacrifice as well. And if we think of those police officers who defended the Capitol, who ultimately paid the ultimate price, they sacrificed their lives to what? Save democracy. Yeah, it can be that sort of thing. It can even be that energy of, like, say, like back in the day, hopefully not so much now, but when some women would be having difficult births and it was a choice between the mother's life and the life of the child, often the mother would sacrifice her life for the child. I'm not saying that should necessarily be done, but we're talking back in the day, like, you know, before epidurals and C-sections were safer and all that kind of stuff, you know, that would often be that kind of scenario. Yeah. Many of us have had to deal with that in past lives, actually. And you can actually see things like that in the chart, particularly if Pluto is in the sign of Cancer, which deals with motherhood. Yeah. And the female lineage can deal a lot with that. So the police officers did all that they could, and those that are standing up against the coup, yeah, positive selflessness. That's also what Pluto deals with in the highest vibration. Another important one is the ability to see darkness and evil for what it is, and all of its forms beyond political sides of arguments. Yeah. Pluto's energy is like X-rays. Yeah, it's the ability to penetrate something, like it's like when you go for a scan or something like that, to see what its true nature is. Because there is a lot of demonizing that happens on both sides, but there's shadow happening everywhere. There is shadow happening everywhere. We see that shadow being battled in the UK. Thankfully, in a way, we have a more confrontational politics in the sense of, like today, like every Wednesday, you know, the Prime Minister has to stand up, you know, face the nation, face the opposition, and basically try and defend a position. Yeah. So it means a lot of stuff gets done. It's very loud and yahoo-ish and all of this kind of stuff. But ultimately, I think it's very healthy because ministers here are very much held to account. And there's a very important by-election tomorrow for the mop, you know, as I refer to him, Boris, yeah? Captain Butterpig, which is going to further influence his premiership because he's expected to lose. We'll have to see how it goes. So everyone's battling these energies, but we need to be able to see evil for what it is, irrespective of the little label that may be put on top of it, and irrespective of if that is our party or not our party or whatever. It's beyond that. Pluto is transcendental. The phoenix rising from the ashes, being able to see things as they are, as they truly are. Yeah. So being able to identify what I put here, it also deals with shamanism and kundalini energy, and our preferences beyond, not preferences. This is beyond the ego. Yeah, beyond the little ego that wants everything to control everything in a certain way. This is to transcendence. Yeah, to transform that. It also deals with X-Men powers like X-ray vision, being able to see the essence of something or someone, its true nature, as I said before. But the ultimate Plutonian superpower, which I put here in my notes, in my opinion, is forgiveness and redemption. When we actually are able to forgive, we change our karmas. They say that is one of the things that burns off the most karma is forgiveness. We feel lighter. The other one is redemption. If we think, for example, with Michael Cohen and his mea culpa, yeah? Had to have his year or so of house arrest and this, that, and the other. Look how he's turned around. Look how he's turned around. He's redeemed himself. Redemption, yeah? And he's took full stock of his shadow. Full stock. That's also another thing as well. When we can take full stock of our shadow, when we can own our own malice or self-destructive qualities, or the desire to destroy others, or jealousy, or, you know, or all of those different things, wanting to do harm, and it being able to integrate the shadow, because light and dark are part of the universe. They are yin and yang. They are the polarities. They're the masculine, the feminine, the energies that create the essence, the bedrock of creation itself. So when we do those things, when we can forgive, when we can redeem, when we can apologize, that's another one as well. When a person has done a lot of their shadow work, they can apologize. Yeah, they can apologize truly from the heart. When they haven't, they really struggle. They really struggle because they know the power of an apology to release someone, yeah, from a state of angst or anxiety and stuff like that. So anyway, those are those things. So these are things that, now how can we do that practically? Of course, there's things like meditation and energy work and stuff like that. Yes, but really it can be those acts of forgiveness, those acts of kindness, communing with the higher sources and radiating out love. Yeah? Love bomb. If you are a blue dot in a sea of red. Now look, we've got to understand there are moderate Republicans as well. So let's not alienate people. You know, there are Republicans that can see the cray-cray for what it is. Yeah. But it's only about 20%, 19%. That's what they said. The rest think it's all stolen and, you know, the violence is justified. Yeah. So it's almost like this kind of love bombing that needs to go on. Another one as well is just serve nature, feed the birds. Something I do all the time. And I know that might sound really silly. I'm always filling up my bird feeder, my scraps of fruit and vegetable, fruit mainly, because there's certain things that they like, especially orange and pear and apple. Feed the birds. Give some love to nature as well. Try and forgive. Think of your energy centers. Look at your shadow. Think of what needs to be integrated. Think of maybe those resentments that may be bubbling, still simmering away. And if you can't fully forgive, then even partially doing that can help, because it helps release that energy. And love bomb. Just absolutely love bomb. Burn some incense and just imagine radiating love across the whole planet, across America and all that shadow, and really just tackling it, but using that plutonic energy. Pluto represents energy of all kinds, but particular nuclear energy. Nuclear energy does what? It penetrates absolutely everything. So love bomb and all of that kind of stuff. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to show you the scroll of my aura report, maybe talk a little bit about it, and then I'll post that up and I'll get this video up. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you found that useful. Next week, next Wednesday, I'm going to be with Lilac Lantern. We're going to be doing a little collaboration together. And of course, we've got Hadiga this weekend and we've got Lena back on the show. So I will see you guys soon. All right, so watch this little bit. I'm going to tack it on. And that will be the end of the video. And feel free to look through the catalog and follow the links if you just want more of the predictions that essentially came true. So there we are. Love bomb, everyone. Love bomb. So silly of me. Anyway, enough from me. Okay, folks. So here is the aura report that I was talking about. So Aura Jet Imaging Systems aura report. And here you can see it here. Now, this may not show up so great on the screen because, of course, I'm videoing the screen. But you can see there is the blue. There is the blue in the aura, the energy that's coming in. And apparently this is, not apparently, I was told, this is the green and yellow energy which is coming out, which is also deals with healing and all of that kind of stuff. So this is the report. So it's I did this, so you can go to www.orophotoclinic.com. I'm not being endorsed or anything like that, but that's just for those of you that are interested in it. And here it says my crown chakra is blue, third eye light blue, right side yellow green, throat green, solar plexus white, root blue white, so root chakra is blue white, left side out looking light blue, so that's a combination of white and blue, heart chakra green, navel white blue. So I was just like, oh my goodness. So there's that. Anyway, so it just goes through these things. This is what I'm going to be uploading. So it's showing the energy that the balancing of the energy, and it's saying that the energy is balanced and stuff like that. You can see a lot of that blue energy and a lot of that green energy there. And then it goes through the different compositions here. So it's like, and it talks about the crown chakra, or all the different chakras and all the different combination of spirit, body, and mind, and those things. And again, this will be up on the whatever, and I'll just read one here. So it says, the crown chakra summarizes your energy state. When we are experiencing changes, colors in our energy field will fluctuate wildly. However, colors in the crown chakra will reflect our resonant color. So here it's blue crown. So blue is the communication color that indicates you are a sensitive and intuitive listener, able to transform and heal others through your love and through patient listening. So you may be coming upon a good time for learning as you are in a particularly receptive, peaceful state of mind. Your crown chakra is telling you that you must trust your intuition to lead you to learn about things which are important for your life, soul's growth, etc. So then it goes third eye and all of that stuff. So you can see it here, that readout, and I will post that up just so everyone can see. And it goes all through the different things. And then it talks about the energies and frequencies. And for me, the higher up it goes, my chakras improve. So obviously I need to do a little bit of work on my earth grounding chakra. There we are. I need to earth myself a bit more, which I've been trying to do, etc. So I'm going to be looking at that stuff, maybe play a bit more sport. And then it goes through all of the different kind of things, the different compositions, what it all means, you know, body, mind, spirit. And then my soulmate, it talks about, let's see. And then the balance. It even talks about the internal organs, thankfully for me, which are all good. And then it ends up there. So I will stop it there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And I hope you found that interesting. All right, bye-bye for now.